Hi everyone, it's Audra. I'm finally getting to my car accident video. Um, Now, as I've said before in a previous video, like if I do it with throughout the years, then it's going to be a really long time before you hear about it. And I gained a lot of weight after my car accident, and it really had a lot to do with me mentally. So I think it's kind of important that you know about it, especially since in my videos I'm like, oh God, it was really bad weather this week. I was really sore. I couldn't walk. I couldn't exercise, that kind of thing. And the car accident has to do with that. So my car accident was in March of, it was March 16th, so the anniversary wasn't too long ago, of 2005. So it was 5 years ago. Um, it was a Wednesday, and I was on my way home from school. I went to school in a college in Alabama, a really small town in Alabama, and then I lived in a very rural part of Florida, and there was this one highway that I had to take for like, I don't know, 50 something miles to get to school. So I was on my way home, and it was the last intersection for like 20 miles that I was approaching. There was a big truck coming in the opposite lane. He was, I was heading east, he was heading west. Um, and when we got to about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 yards, probably 3, 4 yards apart from each other, um, which about 15, hold on, no, sorry, 9, 12 feet away from each other. Um, I don't even know how many was that, 4 something meters, I guess. Um, he decided, because we were right at that intersection, to try and turn. And basically, what happened was like we were heading like this with each other, and this is me. And then like he turned, but we were so close that by the time we got there, he hit me head on, uh, driver's side, actually went up on top of my car. Because I had a small Thunderbird and he had a really big pickup truck and it like ran me over. Um, and I saw it like this split right before it happened, and so I slammed on the brake and tried to turn, opposite him to try and avoid it so that maybe we can miss each other, and it didn't work. In fact, what happened was I was on the brake, and when we hit, the impact was over 100 miles an hour, and it broke my ankle. um, Almost ripped my foot off my leg completely. Um, and because of the force of impact, my knees got a little jacked up, my hip got a little jacked up, and the airbag exploded. Um, and I'm a very calm, patient person. Like I don't panic in stressful situations. I think clearly. I have a very clear head. I'm very calm. It's afterwards that I start to like freak out. Um, so I was very calm until after the airbag deployed, and I started seeing smoke coming out of, or what looked like smoke, I should say, coming out of the dashboard. And that was like, I panicked a little because, this was a very high impact um, accident, and I didn't know if my engine had caught fire, if the engine block had cracked, there was gasoline coming out, it had hit something, like I was really starting to freak out. So I tried to open my door, but the frame had been bent so bad that like I couldn't open it on my own, and then I really started panic. I'm feeling blood coming out, gushing out of me, and um, I was just like freaking out. And luckily, there were people all around who saw everything. And really fortunately, the guy directly behind me was an RN from the nurse that I got. It was an RN at the hospital that I was taken to eventually, and he was a really big help. Um, but these two other guys are pulling on the door. I'm pushing on it. I finally get out. They lay me out next to the car. Um, and I can't put my leg down. Like, let me tell you, when your body goes into shock, no matter how much pain you're in, like, you can keep going. Like, it's amazing because, my ankle hurt like crazy. Um, but then, like, I had to hold my leg up, and I don't know if you've ever done that where like you're laying on your back and then like you have to like put your feet up and hold them up, like, so many inches off the ground. That's what I had to do because I couldn't lay my leg down because my foot was literally, like, the best way to describe it, because I could feel everything. The nerves and everything got pulled around the bone so that, like, everything was intact. I could wiggle my toes, everything. It was really gross. But, like, here's my leg and here's my foot, and it's like just hanging there. And if I tried to put it down, it would like really mess it up and hurt really bad. So I was there for quite a while. Um, there was a gentleman behind me, who was a pastor at the church right at that corner, who'd seen it happen and came out. Um, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "Oh my gosh, he just left." And the guy had literally, like, he saw me. He saw that I was hurt. He took his truck, backed it up off my car, and left. He fled the scene. There were other people there on the phone with 911. The ambulance comes. Um, and I get taken to the hospital. I end up spending 4 days in the hospital. Um, I caught a fever. They were afraid of blood clots. Um, I spent like 5 hours in surgery. I was taken straight into surgery. And I spent about 5 hours in surgery trying to get it all back together. And what they ended up having to do was put in a plate and 4 pins to hold everything together. Um, Now, all of that should have calcified by now, but it still hurts really bad. Like, it hurts, especially when, like, there's a low pressure system coming through. I can tell you before the weatherman can. Like, there's a low pressure system coming through. Like, right now, I think there's a low pressure system coming in because it's just sore. I've just got it resting up. I've got it up on another chair right now, and it's just sore. It's just throbbing, and so I have arthritis. It ripped everything out, and my orthopedic surgeon told me that that was the worst he had seen, the worst break he has seen in his entire 33 years. So I didn't know what to think of that. Um, and he wasn't a small town doctor. He had actually driven in from Mobile, which is a fairly large city, um, in Alabama. So after 4 days in the hospital, I was allowed to go home, and I spent 2 weeks on absolute bed rest. So the only time I could get up, the only time I could put my leg down was to go to the bathroom. And I had to be in bed with my leg elevated. And trust me, at times it really hurt. The blood flow, like, not getting to it as well as it should, caused it to hurt really bad. But then, once I was able to get out, I wasn't allowed to put any pressure on it for 6 months. So I spent 6 months in a wheelchair with it elevated. Um, and that was, that sucked. I'm going to tell you. Wheelchairs are no fun. Everyone else had fun. When I wasn't in it, like, I got a job, a desk job, and they would have fun riding it around. I'm like, yeah, but then you can get out of it. Like, here I am, I'm the only one in it. Um, and that's the only way I can move around. Then after that, I spent about another 7 months on crutches, relearning, like, how to walk properly. My foot, instead of being like this, when they put it in, like, when you break your leg or something, they'll put a cast and your foot's like this, and it keeps that ligament like tight, and you so that when you get it out, then you have room to move. Mine, because the plate had to run straight, so like my leg was like this for more than 6 months. It was like that almost 7 months, and the ligament had shrunk. So I had to slowly start to turn it back up. And so that just, like, that took a long time trying to stretch it out and then like putting pressure on it, because even now I can't bend it all the way like straight up, you know, like I can only